Hello, how in the world are you? Just going to talk to you a few minutes about the first step in 12-step recovery groups. We admitted that we were powerless and that our life had become unmanageable. I just want to say at the start that I'm not speaking for AA or NA or SA. I'm not an authority speaking for any of those groups. What I'm doing is just a primer on the 12 steps as I understand them today. We admitted that we were powerless and that our life had become unmanageable. One of the things I like about the steps is the fact that it's spoken in the past tense. We admitted that we were powerless. It's not saying that we still are powerless, but it's in the past tense. Aside from that, it's also spoken by a group of people rather than one person. The tradition is the first 100 people came up with the 12 steps. Of course, we know about the Oxford group and we know that the steps were around for a long time, but this 100 people put it together as 12 steps. And they said we. They didn't start off with me, I, myself. They said we. They wanted us to understand that more than one person was behind these steps. It's just not a good idea. This is something that they experienced. It's an actual experience. We admitted that we were powerless and that our life had become unmanageable. Now we're dealing with the paradox of powerlessness. You probably heard people talk about surrender to win. It's a paradox, like give it away to keep it. It sounds like it's not true, but it really is a spiritual axiom that is true. Okay, we admitted that we were powerless. Not only did they admit it, but they had to accept it in their being that they were powerless over whatever their addiction was. Powerlessness is the first step in building a foundation in recovery. We admitted that we were powerless. Well, what do they mean by that? Powerless. Does that mean that their addiction somehow comes, throws them down to the ground and makes them take it? Well, I don't think they mean that. I think they're saying that they're powerless because their addiction does at least two things to them. It causes them to have a compulsion and it causes them to have an obsession. Okay, the compulsion, I believe, is what we do. The obsession is how we think. And when you have an addiction, you have a compulsion that causes you to go against your very own law of self-preservation. A compulsion that compels us to do things that we would not otherwise do. A compulsion that goes against that which is in us, that is our better self. So we admitted that we were powerless means that once I start engaging in my addiction, I am compelled to continue. Not only that, I have an obsession. Not only am I compelled to do it, but when I'm not doing it, my mind obsesses over it and thinks about it. And when I do it, my mind thinks about it more and more and more. I kind of meditate on it. I keep thinking about it. I'm preoccupied by it. It's what I want to do. I have a compulsion and an obsession. So when I start my addictive behavior, when I take addictive substances, something happens inside of me. Somebody say we have an allergy. We break out. We break out in jail. We break out in hospitals. We even break out in funeral homes. We break out because we have an allergy that overtakes us when we indulge in our addiction. We have a compulsion. Powerlessness means for me, when I admit that I'm powerless, it means that I have surrendered, that I've given up, that I'm no longer trying to win the battle against this addiction. I'm not fighting any addiction anymore. Powerless means that I've lost. I understand that my addiction, my problem is bigger than me and it's stronger than me. An analogy I use sometimes is that I say, suppose someone came to me right now and they said they would give me $10 million if I would drink right this moment a gallon of acid. Or right this moment I would drink a gallon of arsenic. I wouldn't do it. I don't know about you, but I would not do it. Now, why would I not do it? Because I thoroughly believe that I am powerless to drink it and continue living. I thoroughly believe that it's going to take my life. I thoroughly believe that it's going to destroy me, destroy the hopes and the dreams and the processes that I would have with my family. I really believe that. Why? I don't know. I've never studied arsenic. I've never felt acid. I just believe it within myself that I am powerless to overcome that. I feel the same way about my addiction. I am powerless to indulge in my addiction successfully. I am powerless to do so. I believe that if I indulge in my addiction, I cannot predict how long I'm going to do it and what's going to happen to me when I do it. Now, when I say powerless, do I mean that as soon as I take it, I'm off to the races right away? Not necessarily. Depends on the stage of my addiction. There was a time I could drink a Friday night and go to work Saturday. There was a time I could indulge in other addictions on a Friday night and go to work on Saturday. Yeah, I could do it maybe once, maybe twice, but I couldn't predict it successfully that this Friday night, that's what I was going to do. This particular Friday night, I might end up having other kinds of difficulties in jail, in homes I ought not be in, doing things I ought not do, feeling feelings I ought not feel. I couldn't predict when it was going to absolutely take me for a ride that I did not want to go on. That's what I mean by powerlessness. Powerlessness means that when I do it, I'm going to continue doing it, and it's going to cause me all kinds of hurt, harm, and danger. And I can't predict when that's going to happen. So the first step to me means that I absolutely surrender to that truth. It's over for me. I'm not going to fight it anymore. I surrender. I can't handle it, and I know I can't handle it. I have proven it to myself through experience that I can't handle it. I'm powerless over it. If I keep jumping in the ring with Mike Tyson and he keeps knocking me out, sooner or later I'll have to realize that my redemption will come by not going back into the ring. That's all powerless means to me, is that I'm going to lay down my addiction. I accept the fact that I can't overcome it. The end. I'm powerless. Now, what helps me to understand that I'm powerless? I look at my life. I see that my life has become unmanageable. Unmanageable. In other words, I do a sort of inventory of my life. I look at myself spiritually. What has my addiction done to me spiritually? What has it done to me when it comes to my connection with other people, my connection with a higher power, my connection with my family? Some of that's social, but it also has spiritual dynamics. So when I look at my unmanageability, I ask myself, has it made me more of who I want to be in the spiritual realm or less of who I want to be? Am I telling the truth more? Am I more humble? Am I more loving? Am I more giving because of this? Or has it diminished me in some way in those areas? I look at myself socially. The people around me, am I more connected to them or less connected to them? Am I more loving towards them or more resentful towards them? I look at myself socially. Am I losing jobs or am I gaining employment? What's happening to me as a result of this addiction? Anybody can lose a job, but I'm talking about losing a job as a direct result of my addiction. Okay, and I look at myself spiritually, I look at myself socially, I look at myself physically. What has the addiction done to me physically? Am I bigger because I'm eating too much because of the addiction? Has my mental capacity diminished because of the addiction? What has it done to me physically? Is my body some kind of way causing problems because of the addiction? What has it done to me physically, socially, spiritually? I can look in all different aspects of my life. Is my family saying something to me about my addiction? Or are they not talking to me because of my addiction? I have to look at all these. What has happened to me financially? That's a big one. Because usually our addictions make inroads into our finances. So what has happened to me financially because of my addiction? Let's be real about it, huh? Let's be real. Have I actually spent more money than I planned to spend? Oh, that could happen to anybody. But has it been happening on a recurring basis? Have I been spending more money because of my addiction? Have I been losing money because of my addiction? Have I been borrowing money because of my addiction? I look at myself financially and see what has it done to me. And as I look at all these different areas of my life, that's just a small portion of the areas I look at. But as I look at myself, even emotionally, what has my addiction done to me emotionally? You know, one of the things I think about is that when you have an addiction and somebody comes to you and talks to you about it or in some way threatens to take it from you, emotionally, you usually become extremely angry. Extremely angry. You know, if somebody doesn't have a problem with, let's say, alcohol, and you say, let's don't drink for about a month, I don't think they get all angry. But an alcoholic would tend to say, who are you to tell me that I can't drink? Who are you to tell me that I need to lay off of it for a month? You see, emotionally, my addiction does something to me as well. I can look at myself emotionally, financially, spiritually, socially. I can look at myself in when it comes to legalities. Am I actually breaking the law for my addiction? Or am I ashamed? Maybe it's not against the law to do what I'm doing, but I'm hiding. Maybe I have some Twinkies hid away somewhere if that's my addiction. Maybe I have some pornography books hid away somewhere if that's my addiction. Whatever my addiction is, I probably have a stash somewhere. And if I'm hiding things, to me, that shows some level of unmanageability. The unmanageability helped me to accept that I was powerless over my addiction. And to me, that's the first step. I've given up. For me to try to continue to indulge in my addiction is for me to try to drink arsenic or acid. And one of the things I've always said, there are plenty of people who stop their addictive behavior and never even go through the rest of the 12 steps because they are thoroughly convinced they are powerless over their addiction. And I think that anybody who thoroughly accepts, admits, down in their knower, as I would say, that they are powerless over something and they really look at their unmanageability, they will never indulge in their addictive behavior again. If they really mean it, if they really believe it, like I believe drinking arsenic or acid will kill me. You're not going to get me to do that unless you force me to do it some kind of way. And when you really believe that you're powerless over it, I don't care if your mother die, your father die, your sister die, your brother die. I don't care what happens. You're not going to do it. You know what I wish you? I wish you the revelatory knowledge that allows you to accept defeatism in this area and surrender to the fact that you cannot indulge in your addiction successfully. It's all over. It's all over. But then again, it's a paradox. It's really all just beginning. Peace.